Hello everyone, welcome to People's Voice. I hope you all are doing great and Ramadan is going well for you all. Hi Suhan, Jack, Amresh. I am personally looking forward for today's session because they say good management is the art of making problems look so interesting and their solution so constructive that everyone wants to get work and deal with them. And I believe our today's guest is more or less same. He is someone who make problem look so intrigue and furthermore makes the solution so stimulating that everyone looks forward to solve that problem. And I personally look forward for today's session uh, uh, to know more about consulting management. Hi Abu Ahmed. Hi Suhan. Thank you that you agree with me, Suhan. Hi Srinivas. Hey Farhana. Thanks for joining in, everyone. Nice to see your messages. And even after the sessions, I do get messages, comments from you all. It's really heartwarming to see that you all are liking, appreciating a small efforts from my end to have some change during this difficult time where our life is more or less the same. Our schedule remains the same. And now I can see that our guest is in the room. So let me just invite him and soon we will begin the session. Just waiting for him to accept the invite. And as I always say, if you guys have any comments, any ideas, suggestion related to topic, anything, feel free to message me.
Hi.
Hi Aditya.
Hello there. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Very well, thank you.
hmm Viewers are sending lots of love to you. If you want to chat with them for 2 minutes, we have 2 more minutes to go. So we can just have a greetings with our viewers. I hope you can read the comments.
Yeah, I can. Hi, everybody. Lovely to speak to all of you today. And we're going to have an interesting conversation, I'm sure, because it's a topic close to my heart. Nice to
And
see you
I'm
too, Suhan.
and I'm curious to know the topic.
Sorry?
And I'm curious to know more about topic. Before we begin, I just wanted to share one thing with our viewers. Management consulting is something. I just wanted to share one thing with our viewers. I think my voice is echoing there.
No, it's fine for me.
It's fine, huh? Okay. So I was saying that before I knew anything about management consulting, I was talking to Aditya, and after talking to him, I became so curious to know more about this subject. It's not like I know anything now, but just like 5-10 minutes conversation made me intrigued to know more about it. I'm sure you all are equally excited to know about this subject. So now it's 7:30 in Kuwait. I believe let's start it without wasting any more time. Are you ready, Aditya?
Absolutely.
All right. Let me first introduce our guest to you all. Aditya is a management consultant, partners with organization to enhance leadership effectiveness, an engineer with an MBA in strategy by qualification. He is a two-time TEDx speaker. He has been to the world champion of public speaking twice and was the first runner-up in 2015. He is a thought leader on topics such as the human mind, leadership, and self-development. And he has been a keynote speaker and facilitator in over 20 countries. That's wow. People's Voice welcome you, Aditya Maheswaran.
Thank you so much, Naseem, and thanks for that flattering introduction.
My pleasure. Aditya, let's start with the basic question. What is management consulting? and what does it exactly do to us?
Thank you. And it's good to start with defining what it does, because traditionally consultants don't have a great reputation today. There is a joke which says, Nasima, that a consultant is a person who takes your watch, tells you the time, and then charges you for that. So, uh, but management consulting is slightly different. So, management consulting is helping organizations with managing their businesses better. It has two parts to it. Number one is helping leaders and organizations and leadership teams understand where they want to take their companies towards, where they want to be, say, 5 years from now. Organizations have choices, don't they? Do they grow by acquiring another smaller organization, or do they want to grow by diversifying into another business? We know that uh, Google traditionally was just a search company, but now it does 100 different things. We know that Amazon was a book transaction company. Now it does 500 different things. So what do organizations do in the future is one part of helping organizations decide for that, understand that, and invest money in the right place. The second part of management consulting is helping organization in executing some of this.
Okay.
Who should be their leaders of the future? What kind of culture do they want to create in the organization? If I ask you, what kind of company do you want to work in? You would ask me, tell me about the culture. I want a good work-life balance. I want an organization which is transparent, which gives me enough money. So helping organizations define some of this, build some of these policies, processes, is also the role of a management consultant. So in a way, we are an external plug to the organization. But a, a typical question that comes up is, why do they need consultants? Why can't they do it themselves, right? So the reason is consultants work with many such companies like this, and therefore we have external data, we have some benchmarks that are very useful for the organization.
Uh-huh. So basically, you mean management consulting is something which is helping organization to setting the goals and opening so many opportunities and giving them option where they need to go, and at the same time how to execute it, if I'm not wrong, in a
Absolutely.
nutshell.
You summarized it very well. Exactly. That's what we do.
Okay, all right. And we have so many young viewers, and I get messages, queries from our fresh graduates or who are just embarking their journey in corporate world. So, if someone wants to study management consulting, how what are the ways to study it?
Well, there are two ways to get into management consulting, because it's a very gratifying profession, because you see impact of your work directly. You're helping organizations become bigger, larger, not just in the capitalistic sense, but also in terms of the impact they create on the world. Like one of the organizations I'm consulting now is, we are consulting them on how to be more sustainable as an organization, how to keep in mind climate change and what it means in terms of changes that they need to introduce in their own supply chain, in their own way in which they produce goods. So it's not all bad. That you can do good as a management consultant as well. So a couple of ways to get into that profession is, one is, of course, MBA.
Okay.
MBA seems to be a solution for every problem mankind is facing today, but for especially management consulting, because you're talking about management. So the course that feeds into management is an MBA. So that's a good way to change your career to management consulting if you want that change. Another way to enter management consulting is if you have a business or management experience already. Uh, People who start small companies, entrepreneurs, they have already run businesses, but in a small scale. Now they find it easier to get into management consulting because they are able to empathize with the leaders on the other side who are also going through business decisions, etc. So either by your experience as a general manager or an entrepreneur, or by doing an MBA, there are two ways to get into management consulting.
Absolutely clear on that, how to go in management consulting.
Yeah.
And when I was doing research about management consulting, I was bit perplexed about how management consulting is different from other types of consulting. If you can just brief on that.
Absolutely, and consulting is such a broad, generic word, isn't it? Uh, any person who advises can be called as a consultant, and that's a right way to put it. Uh, the first word, the word that precedes consulting, tells you what kind of consulting that person or that organization does. For example, there is financial consulting, which is what the big four, Ernst and Young, PwC, Deloitte, these companies do, KPMG. There is marketing consulting, which is organizations that help sell your better. Then there is management consulting, who helps manage teams be more effective as an organization. And there are HR consulting, which helps organizations create better talent, hire better talent in the organization. So there are different kinds of consulting. There is supply chain consulting. There is the operations consulting. So as many departments or functions in an organization, as many consultants are there. Management consulting talks more at a general management level. So you would find management consultants are seldom specialists. They are more generalists. They know how to run a business more than being an expert in any one particular area of the business.
Mm-mm-mm. I'm sure they are. And after talking to you and after having a couple of conversation, I can completely agree on that. They are special and they do play a significant part in management of an organization. So far, Aditya, whatever you have explained, it's quite clear to me, and I'm sure to our viewers as well. But if I'll ask you to share an example from your are you with me? I think there is a internet problem. Just a second, guys. Let me just check if he's available or not. Can you guys hear me? Hi, Aditya. I think there was some disturbance in between. We lost you. Are you with us? Aditya, can you hear us? Aditya? Okay, let me just. Yeah, I know you got me. Hi, Rima. Nice to see you again today. Hi, Gayatri, Neetu. I'm just sending an invite to Aditya again. I think he's here. He will join anytime now. I hope you guys are enjoying session so far. And I believe he is here.
Hi, Nasima. Can you hear me? I don't know what happened there. Can you
Yeah.
hear
Now
me now?
I can hear you. Now I can see. No problem. It happens sometimes. Poor network connectivity. So I was asking. So far,
You can see me as well. I don't know. There seems to be a signal issue. Are you able to see me?
yeah, now it's. Are you with me, Aditya? Are you with me, Aditya? I think it's poor network connect. It's on and off. I'm losing you.
What about to hear you too? Why don't we try it one more time? I'll
I'll invite you once again. Please bear with us, guys. It's network issue where we cannot do anything about it. I'm looking for Aditya. Hey Aditya, I'm just inviting you. I hope now his network is better. This is the second time it's having on our people's voice. It's okay, we do have good time to cover all the questions. Aditya, I have already sent you the request if you can accept. Okay, let me just send you once again. Aditya, Aditya, did you get my request to join the video chat?
Hi there.
Now it's better?
Yeah, I can hear you. I really don't know what happened, but I lost you for quite a long time.
That's okay, it happens sometimes.
It does, doesn't it? Right. So where were we, Nasima?
About to ask our next question. I was saying that so far, whatever you have explained to us, it's quite clear. But it will be better if you can share an example from your professional experience. I'm sure that it will help us to comprehend the concept of management consulting in a much better way. So if you can just share a professional example from your personal life.
No, absolutely. I'm reminded of one of the clients that I'm working with now, Nasima. And it's interesting. And these are the typical kind of engagements that you work with in as a management consultant. So here is a client who's a who has a privately owned company. That means he owns the company. He started it 30 years ago, and now he's in his late 60s, and therefore he wants to hand over the business to somebody else. He doesn't have children, so he wants to know how he should continue this organization after he goes. So our job as management consultants is to help him professionalize the organization. He has handled it all himself for 30 years, but now we need a CEO, we need a CFO, we need more, we need a structure. It can't just be one person because he's now in his late 60s. The
Hmm.
management consultant steps in to ensure there is business continuity. We help him answer succession planning. Who should take over his place? Who would be the leaders for the future? How do we identify those leaders? All decisions were centralized so far, but now how do we decentralize leadership? Um, um, and and what is the strategy for the next 5 years, 10 years? So that's one example of what we do. Another example, a very nice example of a client that I'm working with now, Seema, is uh, there is a top team, a leadership team in an organization, but each of them represent their function. That is the head of manufacturing or head of finance or head of quality or head of strategy, but they're not operating as one cohesive, well-oiled engine as a one singular top team. So this is a little more behavioral in nature because I specialize in leadership development. So I'm giving this example. So my job is to work with that client to coach the entire top team on working as one cohesive unit. How can all of them stop thinking of themselves as head of finance or head of strategy and wear the enterprise hat instead, where all of them think of the organization first, not about the company. Now, this has attitude, behavioral implication, but it also has to do with how you define their goals, right? So if the head of manufacturing is rewarded or compensated only for how much the organization manufactures, then he's going to become a little more selfish as a person. So how do we change the way rewards are structured in the organization? How do we work with the team to coach them on new behaviors, collaboration? So these are another type of engagement that I'm working on with now.
Complicated and tough too. And that makes me think, what was your major challenge as a management consultant, and how you deal with such situation?
Yeah, that's a that's a question close to my heart because the first thing I realized, Nasima, when I started this career quite some time ago, was I was trying to show the client that I know their business. Because I had to look knowledgeable. Later, I realized that was a very foolish thing to do because how can I know someone's business better than them? That's a losing battle to fight. And there is no point showing them that I'm better than them. So what I should be doing is trying to partner with them, trying to add value, what I bring in, not try to compete with them that I know their business better than them. For example, if I'm working with the CEO of a pharmaceutical company, as a consultant, you feel insecure. You want the CEO to trust you that you know pharmaceutical industry as much as he does. So sometimes you end up trying to act more wise or more smart than you actually are. And the CEO can find that out in 2 seconds, and then the trust is broken. So over time, I realized it's okay to not know more than your client, but your value add is in terms of the service and products that you bring to the table, not knowing the industry more. But how do you do that when you're talking to a 55-year-old CEO who has worked for 30 years in the industry? What kind of value you bring? That's got to do with a lot of reading, research, trying to talk to, have a good network of mentors who will help you. So those were challenging days for me initially, but now I'm in a much more comfortable space.
Challenging situation and tricky too to behave in such situation. I don't know how I will just gone into a more what if I have to react to such situation, how I will deal. I have no answer, and that's the reason there is management consultant, I'm sure. I don't realize it's almost 20, but 20 minutes, but before we sign off, an important question I feel after talking to you is it raised in my mind that post COVID-19, uh, as per my understanding about management consultant, I feel that this profession will play an important role and there will be a greater demand for management consultant. How different approach will management consultant will have towards their clients to swiftly to increase the growth of the organization?
Right. See, I think it's very clear to all of us, whether you are in the industry or a consultant or any human being in the world understands through this pandemic, COVID-19, that the world has changed in a matter of a couple of months. And that has impacted organizations all over the world in every country. Over 180 countries have had COVID cases. Most countries have been in lockdown. The supply chains have been broken. Businesses are not getting raw material. A lot of organizations have laid off people. A lot of organizations are working from home, probably continuing throughout 2020 till the end of the year. Some industries have totally gone out of business, like the airline industry, hospitality industry. So every organization is struggling, and I see that as a consultant. I see a three-step process. The first step is to just recover. you know, it's not to add value, but it's just to recover, exist, sustain, don't go bankrupt, right? And in that phase one, consultants help organizations create short-term and mid-term strategies on how to recover. Where do you save costs, for example? Do you go and fire your workforce? Is that the best way to save costs? Or can you save costs by reducing the real estate that you have because nobody is working from office? Can you save costs by increasing productivity? So we help clients recover better by working on their cost structures, by working on how they optimize their resources and all of that. The second phase is after a company has recovered, they want to reboot, which is which is which is start afresh in the new normal that is going to be very different from the old normal that they're used to. They may want to invest in new things that they never invested in the past, like technology, for example, right? Like working from home, for example. A lot of what they do traditionally face to face, like meetings or even trainings, all of that is going to be done online now. And so we as consultants need to change our services to online services as well, because we don't have the, as a consultant, I used to take 3 flights a week in Asima to different parts of the world. But now it's all going to be online. So after recovering, it's rebooting. And the third is reset, which is once you've recovered and rebooted, how are you going to reset yourself to sustain this for the next 10 years or 20 years? Because a lot of things are going to change for the good. So consultants play a big role in pandemics like these. It's not that we want to be in pandemics like these, but organizations look for support because nobody has an answer. Not even us. We don't have answers to situations like these because we have not been in a situation like this for the last 100 years, have we? But we help bring a benchmark to the client. We help show a mirror to the client for them to take better decisions.
I really feel that management consultant will definitely have a significant role in bringing companies back to recovery, rebooting, and what was the
Reset.
resetting. And with that, I wish you all the best for your future endeavor. Thank you so much for giving your precious time. It's a pleasure to have you on People's Voice. Thank you so much, Aditya Maheswaran.
Thank you, Nasima. It's always a pleasure to speak to you. Thank you for those pertinent questions. And I hope somebody listening to this would be interested to take a profession in consulting and probably in management consulting. It's a thrilling profession to be in. Every day is new and no day is the same.
And I'll definitely let you know if I'll get any comments related to this topic and any feedback on this video. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you, Nasima, and thank you everybody for tuning in.
Thank you everyone for joining us. That was Aditya Maheswaran. I have learned a lot about management consulting, and I'm sure you all too at least got a the outlook of management consulting. So please, as always, keep writing to me, keep sending your messages, how you like this episode, the entire episode. And yes, thank you so much. Stay safe, stay home. Good night. Take care.